A driveway winds up and around a bend on a hill overlooking the Chattahoochee River, just a stone's throw away from a busy Atlanta road. And there, amid the pines, stands the Ignatius House Jesuit Retreat Center, a sacred space for reflection, spiritual direction, rest, and silence.
Silence, silence. It's almost like the scary word, the thing that keeps most folks from actually registering and signing up for their fear of silence.
Maria Kressler is Ignatius House Executive Director.
The idea when you come here, you can talk up a storm when you arrive. We welcome you with great hospitality. We will have a reception, a wonderful dinner, lots of conversation. But once we begin at 8 o'clock, the great silence begins. And that includes, much to people's dismay, your meals. So you'll have 40 plus people walking into a dining hall and the food being served and nobody speaking. And that's perhaps the first thing that folks have to get over when they come into this space. But what you find is that we're trying to encourage them to experience everything. God is found in all things, even in all your senses, right? So to sit and eat and be quiet, to chew slowly, to put your fork down when you're used to rushing and eating your meals fast is another way of continuing the conversation, because what happens in silence is the conversation is between you and your Creator, you and God. Once we start sharing and talking to each other, those aren't bad things, but they immediately start to displace the conversation that was started. So to start a weekend, continue that, even through your meal, because now the person you're talking with, the conversation that's happening internally is with you and God. Things can happen. And at the end of the retreat, 40 plus people, sometimes 48 to 50, will have had this experience together, never having spoken a word to one another, but feel an incredible sense of community, an incredible sense of humility, because they know that everybody in this room has come seeking that same connection. And that's why I think it works broadly across religions and across faiths, because it's all about this very, very personal, intimate relationship with God.
Father Jose Fetzer is one of the Jesuit priests who lives and serves at the retreat center.
This is sacred grounds, as I see it, like the monastery of the Holy Spirit is sacred grounds. Ignatius House, Jesuit Retreat Center is a sacred ground. So many people come in their brokenness, seeking hope, are not necessarily Catholics, different Christian denominations, people from the Jewish tradition, Muslims, atheists, agnostics, anybody who's a broken person, seeking hope, seeking to make sense of this vacuum that we have, this feeling of, the restlessness. St. Augustine put it really very clearly, my soul is restless until it rests in you. Just recognizing that my soul is restless is half the way. What am I going to do with that restlessness? Well, we can show you the way.
The solitude and the space and the process of following the spiritual exercises developed hundreds of years ago by St. Ignatius of Loyola draw many people to Ignatius House, among them general contractor Ted Benning.
The first retreat that I went to was an interesting experience. We were eating meals in the old facility. We were all there together and we were silent, which was quite awkward from a social point of view. But during the course of the retreat, all the noise fell away out of my mind. And I found a certain depth and found a certain serenity, peace, which had been somewhat elusive and still continues to be elusive in my life. And I felt that it was a good thing. It was a good thing that I did it, and it was we felt, or at least I felt that it was a good thing that I would do that again. And so I began to make a retreat once or twice a year, and during the course of making those retreats, I became friends with one of the Jesuit priests here, Father Jack Vessels.
That kind of personal and family connection to the grounds and center also drew architect James Smith to its mission.
My mom used to come here, and as a young teenager who was struggling with some of the sort of authoritarian aspects of the church as a semi-rebellious teenager. I found the Jesuits out here and Ignatius House a wonderful respite.
And the retreat experience, says the executive director, starts from the moment one enters the property.
You pull in now, and I think we have the gates that are always remained open. There's something wonderful about that. The gates are there, but they're always open. There's an open welcome to you as you come in, and you cross over the first set of paving stones, and you've kind of entered into our campus, if you will. For many of us who work here, we'll talk about it. When we finally get in here, there's a sense of, it's not just about I'm here, but there is something about the space. We're 20 acres on the Chattahoochee. We are so close to the city, so we're really kind of a very in-city oasis, if you will, with a hiking trail that now equals about a mile. It's barely just a mile. So for those who are really enthusiasts, they got to do it about 3 or 4 times to really get that workout. But it takes you through the woods, right along the Chattahoochee River. Over the years, Eagle Scout projects and other people's memorials to family members have built decks and sitting areas and little gazebos. And so if you do the walk, you're going to find that there's places to sit by the river and be still and let God speak to you in your physical surroundings. You can get your exercise if you want and keep on going, and it takes you to a little waterfall where we have like a statue of the risen Christ that kind of takes people by surprise when they come around, but it's part of that experience of God in all things. Then taking you back up, so you could have either seen it when you got here, which is our cell tower, which looks like, does not look like a cell tower. It was designed especially for Ignatius House. It is what we thank God for every day, in the sense that it's a good revenue, as you can imagine, for a nonprofit. But they also very uniquely designed it, and I believe it was Father Jack Vessels and Bob Fitzgerald back in the day when they were putting this together, that they created this outdoor chapel. So while it is a cell tower, and it provides us with much needed revenue to help us operate, it also has the beautiful ceramic icons that were made and done in Mexico of salvation history. So there's again that link with our link to the Jewish faith, which starts us off, with salvation history first revealed to our Jewish brethren and takes you all the way around. So it's a beautiful outdoor prayer experience. So the whole point would be on the grounds. Wherever you go, there are things for you that will speak to you. So if you're an outdoor naturalist, you're going to find one way of speaking. If you're somebody who needs that wonderful chapel and that cozy feeling, down the end of our hall, the oldest chapel, and it's down here at the end of the first floor, is a tiny little chapel that we always have available and open for prayer, with everything from the traditional kneelers to chairs if you just want to sit and hang out and pray, or sit on the floor on yoga mats and pray. So we just provide everything to help the encounter for that individual, whatever they need to have that. We're here to facilitate. We don't do anything other than we provide, and we're hoping to be the space where the action between God and the creature can happen.